On today's episode of the Driven and Mad podcast, we dive in to the latest news from the world of F1. Alpine's superstar investor, Mick Schumacher's entrance into a full-time seat, and Lewis Hamilton telling F1 that they've gone too far with their cars, and so much more. All coming up right now. Hello and welcome to the Driven Mad podcast, proudly in partnership with Sports Illustrated. My name is Alex Harrington, and to my left, as usual, is Lydia Me.
And if you like what we're saying, please do give us a follow on social media. So I am at Lydia Me F1, you are at Alex Does F1, and whilst you're there, give F1 F all a follow for all the latest news.
Yeah, and before we jump in, if you fancy following another podcast, yet another F1 podcast on the radio waves, subscribe on your favourite podcast provider or YouTube. Like, rate highly, review, all that good stuff. Talking of good stuff, it's been a pretty good news week of F1. No race.
Yeah.
Shame. But we're about to go into 4 races in 5 weeks. So that's pretty exciting.
Brace yourselves.
Brace yourself.
Yeah.
But the biggest news, the internet was broken, wasn't it? When Ryan Reynolds revealed that he was investing in Alpine, along with a number of others.
Yeah. He tends to do that. Just break the internet.
He is a viral sensation, Mr. Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he famously invested in Wrexham Football Club, I think almost 3 years ago.
Yep.
And we were literally joking last week.
Yep.
Like, wouldn't it be so funny
if he invested in an
F1 team? I don't know if Alpine would have been my guess.
No, I would have thought.
I
he invested in Wrexham. I would have thought Williams. Sorry,
Savage.
Wrexham.
Right. Anyway.
But obviously, he loves an underdog.
Yeah, I mean, Alpine is like
It's a bit of an underdog.
Where
are they? They're 4th in the constructors right now. Potentially
no,
5th. Potentially
5th.
Even lower than that. They're trying to be 4th in the constructors.
Yeah, 5th, I think.
Alpine, Alpine's a team we haven't really heard much about. They're kind of just there, aren't they?
No, there's been a bit of, obviously, Laurent Rossi at the beginning of the year was very publicly like, they're all doing crap.
I mean, they were.
Am I allowed to say
They were.
crap?
Yeah, you're allowed to say crap. Because the thing is, last year, they were they were huge because they had Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
And now they don't. They have 2 talented drivers. Pierre
Yeah.
Gasly is very, very good. Esteban Ocon
is doing really well.
He is doing really
Yeah,
well.
obviously he had his podium in Monaco.
Yes, I mean, that's Monaco.
They got a
isn't
lot
it?
of Hawkstone beer.
They did, yeah. Thank you, Clarkson. But yeah, they haven't really got like a headline anymore.
No.
Until now.
Yeah.
So the thing that troubles me a bit here
Oh, God, here we go.
is that they invested 200 million euros, that is.
Yeah.
That equates Alpine, the total value of the team, to 900 million euros.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
I know.
Like, it wasn't too long ago a team was selling itself for $1.
$1. That's the way you said that then.
$1.
Cash.
So it makes me wonder, is that crazy? Is that crazy? 900 million euros for a team? But
I just don't know anymore. These values are out of control.
yeah, I mean, it was who was it? Was it Stefano Domenicali? Someone of very high stature within the F1 community.
Huge respect.
Came out and said teams are being valued at over $1 billion right now.
Yeah.
And they're turning those buyers down. So, I mean, F1 is a whole new level of scale in regards to value. And I don't personally see Alpine as a team worth 900 million euros. But maybe, I mean, obviously someone does.
Maybe you're stingy.
Maybe I'm stingy.
5 are at a stretch.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Rossi. Ryan Reynolds wasn't the only one, was he? There was it was a big group of people, Ocho Capital, Redbird Capital Partners, and of course Maximum Effort Investments. They purchased 24% of the team, and that included Michael B. Jordan. It included what's his name?
You're good at Rob McElhenney?
Rob McElhenney.
I can't get the song out of my head now, so I struggle to say it without singing it, but I'm not.
Yeah, if you haven't yet, go and Google, just YouTube, a video by, I think it's actually by Wrexham United, isn't it? I think it's on their YouTube channel.
Probably,
But
yeah.
it's Ryan Reynolds. He wrote a song about Rob McElhenney and how to pronounce his surname. So very funny. If you haven't seen it, it's well worth watching. But this is interesting, isn't it? Because, I mean, the one thing that stems from this that I'm really excited about,
Marketing. It's going to be so good.
I'm so excited to see some viral videos from Ryan on this.
They do have to be, like, the team has to be game for it, though.
Oh, I think they will be. I think Esteban is going to be right up for it.
Oh, he's going to love this, because
Yeah.
he's a huge Marvel fan, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He loves a bit of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure his favourite Spider-Man's.
Deadpool is just a Spider-Man who swears, though, isn't he, really?
It's like an R-rated version.
every Marvel character, every Marvel fan watching is going to be like, what? I know who Deadpool is, don't worry. I love Deadpool. And I love the fact that we now have a slight, minuscule chance of one of the drivers having a Deadpool helmet.
Ooh.
Come on, Alpine, give us a whole livery. We want to see it.
Oh, that's so good.
you imagine?
And you know how in some of his films he makes little references to Wrexham? We might
Does
be
he?
seeing... Yeah.
Well, I've seen this
Well, you know,
aviation gin, I've got to admit.
he goes in on the aviation gin ads.
We haven't tried that. We are massive gin nerds. We haven't tried aviation gin.
Yeah, we should actually.
Ryan,
honour.
if my friend, if you're watching this, please send us some aviation gin.
He's
We'll
not
put it on.
involved with it anymore.
No,
Didn't he
he's
sell-
still doing marketing, I believe. I know he
okay.
sold his share and he made a load of money.
Yeah.
But if you are still involved, I'm pretty sure you are. But if you are, even if you're not, do your boy a favour and send me some gin. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know what I was saying now.
Liveries. Oh, and including it in
so we
films.
might be seeing Alpine in
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3.
Oh, that'd be great.
But I was going to say maybe it'll be an A110, but actually the investment is only in the F1 team.
That's right. Yeah.
So it doesn't stretch to Renault's engine department or Renault as a whole.
Yep.
Alpine as
Yep.
a car manufacturer.
Sure. I'm sure Renault will be asking some questions over this because of the high valuation.
What do you mean? Why?
Well, they're invested in it. So they're going, wait, how much are we getting diluted by? I don't know.
Well, presumably those questions and conversations will have already happened by now.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awkward.
I'm sure they have.
I'm sure we will
been.
all hear shortly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, please, we want some more headlines. We've had a great week. But, we're complete horse. So,
You're gonna have to cut that one out, aren't you?
nah, it'll be fine. Fine. Sorry, I was just moving my mic about. We're trying to sort out the perfect mic setup, and hopefully it's working. Yeah, so Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that means he's going to show his face at more F1 races as well.
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if he'll be at Silverstone.
Yeah,
Because
maybe.
he lives at least part-time. I
In
know
Wrexham.
I know that's not close to Silverstone, but it's...
So in the same country.
Yeah, or is it? Hang on, I think it might be Wales.
Is it Wales? It's on the same island.
It's on the British Isles.
On the British
Hang
Isles.
on. Yeah, that's Wales.
Yeah, okay. And Lydia did a geography A level.
Yeah, but you don't learn about where countries are.
No, but you know how to make a volcano. So good news for Alpine. They're struggling right now, aren't they? They wanted to be as close to third as possible. They didn't think they were going to be in the top three, but they are definitely struggling. And I do just think that's because they haven't got the headliner, Alonso. With him moving to Aston Martin, I think it was almost a kind of belt and braces job when Alonso moved to Aston Martin. They were kind of like, what do we do? We need a driver good enough to fill his boots. And I think the car's getting there. I'm wondering just how good the drivers are and whether they can bring in a team that can challenge the current top four.
I think it's a great driver lineup,
Yes.
but maybe where the team want them to, they're probably a few years off.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're at an awkward in between, aren't they? Because they're quite far behind the top four.
Yep.
but there's a decent gap between them and 6th. Because,
Good point.
Alpine are 5th with 44 points, Ferrari are 4th with 122, McLaren 6th with 17.
I think McLaren are going to catch up, though, after their upgrades. I think they'll catch
Yeah.
up. Alpine is known for its good development, though. So, we'll see. There's still plenty of season left.
I know, it feels like we've had so much of the season already.
It really does. Yeah.
And then
I'm kind of drawing conclusions already,
Yeah.
and we really shouldn't be.
We haven't even had the
stage.
summer break yet.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's get ready for loads and loads of races in the next few weeks. We've got Festival of Speed. Where we're going to be seeing Mick Schumacher.
Yeah.
Mick Schumacher is our next point of call on this conversation. He is currently a reserve driver for Mercedes, but people are wanting him back, aren't they? People are wanting him back in a seat. And this all kind of stemmed from the fact that he is driving his father's Mercedes, the W02 at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, where we will be attending. So if you have any questions for Mick Schumacher or any of the other racers, F1 drivers actually attending.
Yeah, I think Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Vettel's going to be there.
Yep. He'll be driving his personal cars, his personal F1 cars with new synthetic fuels, which is really exciting. It's the future of not just the sport, but likely the driving world as well, the real world. So very exciting. And like I said, if you've got any comments that you want any questions that you want us to ask Mr. Schumacher, then please put them below in the comment section below, and we'll do our best. We're going to hopefully have a chat with him and watch him muscle that Mercedes up the hill. But after the news of that, people were like, well, I mean, there are a few drivers on the grid right now who aren't really excelling. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about where Mick could slot himself back in the grid. I mean, my first opinion is it's got to be AlphaTauri, Nick de Vries.
Yeah. I think the thing is with rookies, though, like, how long do you give them to settle into it?
Red Bull, about 4 weeks. That covers testing.
I mean, yeah, they are quite cutthroat,
Savage.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Because I just think they need a bit of time to settle in. Also, the AlphaTauri car is not that great.
It's what you call a tractor.
So how much of it is... I know Yuki Tsunoda is outperforming Nick, which you would expect on paper if someone is...
Yeah, that's the thing. He has so many more years' experience.
Yeah. In F1, yeah.
In F1, yes. I mean, De Vries, he's getting on a bit.
Alex, he's
younger than us. Is he? I thought he was like 26.
No, I think he's 28.
Oh, dear. He's 28, our age. Yeah.
So old.
No, I mean, that's the other question, though. It's taken him so long to get into F1. Is that kind of like a hint at what happened behind the scenes there? I mean, his karting history was stellar. It was perfect. He had one of the greatest performances, or rather careers in karting of anyone. It is such a shame that he's just not that great at F1.
Yeah.
And you do find that, the cars are so different. So, you do find that sometimes it doesn't quite work out. And I do think in this particular example, it's not going to work out.
I am inclined to agree. But then the emotional side of me is like, please just give him another year to try and prove himself.
Let's just go through some facts, first of all. Franz Tost, team principal at AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
His first selection of driver, his mind first went to Mick Schumacher.
Yeah,
it was
Helmut Marko, wasn't it?
It was Helmut Marko who said, no, you should go Nick de Vries. Because, AlphaTauri has that relationship with Red Bull, and Helmut Marko was this kind of overseeing god of that side of the paddock. And actually, Helmut Marko has just come out and said, and I quote, disagreeing with Christian Horner on this, not often does he do that? Does he disagree with Christian Horner? But sometimes we do. The last one, I would say, is Nick de Vries. And at the moment, it looks like he is Christian Horner, right. He was not a fan of Nick de Vries. So,
Degrees.
Nick de Vries. Nick de Vries. So that, Horner is not a fan.
No.
Horner,
And-
regardless of what you think of him, he really does know what he's doing.
Yeah, you respect his opinion, definitely. And he knows how to select good drivers.
Yes.
So all in all, not a fantastic time for Nick.
No, I have a feeling it wasn't there rumours of Nick being replaced by the Austrian Grand Prix?
No, that was Logan.
Logan, we'll get on to him in a minute. Quickly as well, I just want to do a quick comparison between Tsunoda and de Vries. Tsunoda so far this season, 0 points. He came 8th in Canada.
No,
Sorry, 18th in Canada.
Tsunoda has points. You
That's what
said Tsunoda has no points.
Sorry. De Vries has no points. He came 18th in Canada. Tsunoda, in comparison, does have points. He has 2 points, and he hasn't finished lower than 15th. And he's in my fantasy, so he can't be going anywhere.
Pretty sure he's in mine as well. But
F1 fantasy, by the way. No, not any other fantasy. He's doing really, really well. He's been this year's George Russell, Mr. Reliable. He was
midfield, yeah.
Yeah. He was finishing like 10th, 11th for a long time. It was only recently he hasn't had such a good run. De Vries, on the other hand, is looking really bad. I know he's getting used to the car and he's getting used to the tracks, and you can't. There isn't that time in F1 to get used to things. You've got to be there.
No, and also obviously there's Mick Schumacher and Daniel Ricciardo who want to get back into it.
That's the other option, isn't it?
But there's the whole horde of drivers going up the ranks who now feel they're ready to get into F1 and they've got to go somewhere.
Liam Lawson, Alex Palau.
Yeah.
Who else? There's a third. There's a third out there. I'm sure there is.
It's Ayumi.
Yes. I mean, we'll see. I think Red Bull or AlphaTauri, Red Bull might make a bit of a decision quite soon, actually, and potentially even would they swap him out halfway through the season? I think they'll leave him be. I take it back. I think they'll leave him be. But my opinion on Nick de Vries, a brilliant racer, but I just don't think he's cut out for F1.
No.
Which is a shame because he is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
But I think he's too old. He's learning too slowly. And that was a major issue that people had when he joined the sport. Oh, well.
It's interesting. And Helmut Marko previously said, I think when there was another wave of rumours about Daniel Ricciardo taking de Vries's spot, Marko said, if we get rid of de Vries, he won't be replaced by Ricciardo. It will be a Red Bull Junior team member, which goes against, obviously, Ricciardo recently said that he is willing to go.
That's nice of him, isn't it?
Yeah, so kind. To step back in at AlphaTauri level and work his way back up, but he ultimately wants to finish his F1 career with Red Bull. But really, he wants Perez's seat, doesn't he?
He does.
But that's a conversation that we've already had, but also for another time.
Yeah, go watch our previous 3 podcasts if you want to hear about Perez. We talked about Perez a lot. We're not going to talk about him today.
Refrain.
But Danny Rick, though, he is a known variable, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the thing. So when you put him in a car, you kind of, Red Bull's going to have even more of an understanding of where his performance levels are soon, because he's doing the testing soon.
Yeah.
But you kind of know where he's going to be. The question that Red Bull is now asking is if they bring someone up like Liam Lawson, like Alex Palau, whoever, can they strike gold?
Yeah,
and Red
it's
Bull,
not guaranteed, is it?
It's not guaranteed, but Red Bull have a great history of striking gold. So I have a feeling we'll see someone new.
I think so. Ooh, exciting.
Very exciting. You know what was really exciting, though? Logan Sargent. I'm no longer excited. I've got to admit.
Oh, okay.
I had such high hopes for Logan Sargent. The first American in so long coming into F1. It's early, and I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, because he will bring with him
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And although if we do get a new driver and they're from IndyCar, regardless of whether they're American, that will
Yes.
probably bring some American fans along.
Yes.
But it will be really interesting to see how Logan does when he gets the upgrades on his car that Alex Albon had on his in Canada.
Yeah. I mean, Albon did such a great job in
Yeah.
Canada, didn't he? But it's difficult to establish whether that was because of the upgrades or whether it was to do with just a bit of luck on the day.
Yeah, they made the right decision at the right time during qualifying, didn't they? Which helped.
But he held
massively.
it. He held it. That was the difference. He got up there and he held it. Look at Nico Hülkenberg. He got up there, but he didn't hold it. And he's done that several times.
Yeah.
And people are actually comparing Nico to Mick Schumacher. They're saying, well, Mick Schumacher never really qualified high. Nico did, but he's not holding on to it.
Back off, he's in my F1 fantasy. I don't know why I keep putting him in there, to be honest, but
No, I don't blame him.
the
He's a
funds
great...
were running dry.
No, he's a surprisingly good... Ouch.
No.
He is a surprisingly good driver.
Yeah. And I do have options to put him in, other options.
Yeah, like
but
Tsunoda.
I have him too. My fantasy league's not very good.
Damn, I was thinking, wow, Hülkenberg and Tsunoda.
That's a
That's
just
like-
a choice.
Two drivers and no points.
Yeah. But no, I know there's the comparisons there, and I think apart from Nick de Vries, where else would Mick go if he came back? Just linking us back to
the thing is as well is that Mercedes has that very good relationship with Williams. I mean, James Vowles literally just came from Mercedes, and also that because of that, there's the connection to Mick's father,
Yeah.
and I have a feeling that they will actually bring
Yeah.
Mick under the wing of Williams.
See, that's what I think. I think he's more likely to go to Williams
I
than
think
he
so too.
is to AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Because both Haas drivers are due to have their contracts expire at the end of the year, but I just don't know why. I just don't see that happening.
I have a feeling Gunther Steiner
something-
isn't such a fan of Mick. There's been a bit of friction. I don't know. There's just a wisp of friction, and I don't know where I got it from.
No.
You should read his book. His book's
See,
brilliant.
in his book, he's actually really nice about it. Like you can you understand the
is.
decision that he's made. Obviously, it costs
course.
the team a lot of money, and they needed to come into this year with more seasoned drivers.
And I think it's worked for them.
It has worked.
That's
so,
the thing. Like Mick, when he joined Haas, had basically no experience.
Yeah.
And I think being at Mercedes, watching Russell and Hamilton, that's given him... I think it's given him just more of a base to work from. I think he's going to go in with more confidence. I think he's going to go in with more maturity. And moving to Williams, if he does, he will replace Sargent.
Yeah.
And then he can work with Alex Albon, which is a great partnership because Alex has been there for so long. He's had experience with really strong teams and really weak teams and a host of different cars. From one end of the scale to the other. So I think he will be able to learn so much from that matchup.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I would do. I would totally bring in Schumacher.
Yeah.
Because he is starting afresh. He'll have a completely different mindset now. And he will... I don't want to say that he's riding on his name because he's not. He has basically proven himself that he is a good F1 driver.
Yeah.
But the name brings in certain opportunities.
It does. But also, I think it's worth saying that I don't think it's everything that comes with the name is good for him.
Well, there's a lot of comparisons, aren't there?
That's the thing. Imagine, obviously, your dad is one of the greatest drivers, F1 drivers of all time. Naturally, people are going to be drawing comparisons between the two.
And I think
that must be really hard.
I think that actually unsettled Mick when he started because there were these comparisons. People going, "Oh my god, it's just Schumacher back on track."
And there was so much excitement for it. It's not the same, but Nick de Vries coming in, there was so much hype
his history
and
with Williams.
so much excitement because he scored points on his debut. Everyone was so excited. There was seemed to be a bit of a battle with different teams wanting him, and then he's come in and it's like, oh, he's actually probably performing well, he's performing almost the same, if not better, than Logan Sargent, who's also a rookie.
Yeah.
Not as good as Oscar Piastri.
Oscar's
But
amazing.
we had such high hopes for him that everyone's got to.
Yeah.
And it's similar, but on a bigger scale, I'd say.
Yeah, it's just a huge contrast, isn't it? And with both drivers, I agree. You're completely right. But when that happens and you've got all eyes on you, and then you do fail, like Schumacher did, it's got to hurt your confidence.
Yeah.
And a driver has to be above confidence. You've got to be a machine, and you've got to go out and be able to give 100% each time.
Yeah.
You can't let your confidence be a factor in your performance.
Yeah.
And I think with Mick that did happen. But hopefully, like I said, being at Mercedes will have changed that mindset. Being under someone like Toto Wolff.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing for him.
Yeah, me too. And Lewis Hamilton, who, if there's any driver out there who has had his confidence, not necessarily in his driving, but his confidence in his career shaken, it's Lewis Hamilton. So Mick will hopefully learn from Hamilton how to readjust his mind, which is potentially the most important thing here.
Yeah, and that's something that Hamilton's so good at, isn't it? His ability to bounce back is incredible.
Yeah.
So hopefully he will have, gained a lot from there.
I hope so.
Other than that, though, he's obviously not going to go to Haas.
He's not going to replace
that
Perez.
Would be the biggest curveball ever.
That would be such a Gunther Steiner thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah, I was going to say, he did bring Kevin back.
And after breaking his door, the cheek. Poor Kev.
But, yeah, he's not going to go to Haas.
Definitely not going to go to Red Bull.
The biggest opportunity is Logan Sargent, followed by Nick De Vries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to... I mean, I think Tsunoda's contract's up this year, but that's not going to... If he's going to go to AlphaTauri, it's going to be De Vries.
Yes. I think Tsunoda's going to be there for a while as well.
I think so.
I don't see Tsunoda going anywhere.
No. Then Perez isn't up this year, but obviously there's a lot of talk about that.
I think Perez might well be replaced at the end of the season.
But not by
Won't
Nick.
be with Schumacher.
Yeah. And then the only other one that we're yet to hear confirmation on is Lewis Hamilton. And again, that would be the biggest curveball ever. But...
I mean, think about this, though. Think about it.
Do that.
No, but they're not. But think about that scenario. George Russell is a great driver. He's a little too confident in his strategy directions. I think, it's chucking it down. He's like, I'm going to try slicks. What?
I kind of love that boldness, though. Like, you've got to be sure of yourself and sure of your decisions. He's a little bit... He needs to take a moment, I think. Says me. I mean... When you're in an F1 car and you're going like however fast.
I don't know how they can think about anything else, let alone the strategy of the race.
Or Alonso just like, I saw that on the screen.
I don't know how Alonso does it, honestly.
No.
I don't know how any of them do it. It's very easy. I think this is something we should stress. It's very easy to talk about F1 when we're not the ones involved at all. We write about it.
I basically just said he needs to slow down.
Yeah. It's so easy for us to judge. Yeah. And we try to do it respectfully. And, we make jokes, but we have a lot of respect for all of them and all the teams because they are doing all of them. They're in F1. It means they've won a life.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton, though.
Oh, he's been talking about the 2026 regulation change.
Yes.
As have a lot of them.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes, we've heard from Alonso. We've heard from...
Perez.
We've heard from Albon.
Yeah.
Got to talk to Albon in Miami, and he gave me a little inkling of what he fancied in the new cars. The good thing is that if Hamilton is talking about 2026, it means he wants to be there in 2026.
Yeah.
Actually, I've just thought that's not that far away.
Oh, no, it's not.
So actually, that doesn't mean much. But...
No.
It at least means he's going to stay in the sport. I mean, he said all along that he's going to stay with Mercedes for as long as possible. But the subject here is about the 2026 regulations. But there are rumours from... Who was it? Daily Mail, wasn't it? It was a Daily Mail, so, sprinkle of salt. They
We're going to get sued.
Nah, it's fine. They know what they are.
Every time.
Wow. Every time the jaw dropped and almost falls off. There are rumours that there are a few roadblocks. We like that word, don't we? Roadblocks. There are a few roadblocks between Mercedes and Hamilton around the contract.
Yeah.
And I mean, you wrote about this. I'll let you.
Yeah. So the current rumour, obviously, no one really knows for sure.
Especially not the Daily Mail.
You are on one today, and when you do this, it stresses me out. So, so the latest rumour is that Hamilton wants, beyond a driving contract, to be brought on,
Just try and keep it going so I don't have to do a load of editing.
Okay. So, I don't know where I was, so I'm going to have to start that again.
Yeah.
But the latest rumour is that beyond the driving contract, written into the same bigger contract, is a 10-year ambassadorship.
Yeah.
That's a difficult word to say.
Yeah.
Ambassadorship contract of 20 million a year. So obviously 200 million
That's
altogether.
Right. That's more than some drivers are getting for putting their lives on the line in the car.
The amount, because obviously we talk about amounts a lot. Now when I say 20 million, I'm like, oh, that's a bit low.
I know, me too.
It's completely skewed.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we were only weeks ago, we were hearing rumours of like 80 million a year for Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, just 20 million?
Yeah. What's wrong with us?
Like, God, get a life, man. What do you do? Value yourself.
But apparently that's a bit of a stumbling block. I don't know why. I think having him on as an ambassador, I don't know why I keep trying to say that word.
Having him on as an ambassador is a great idea.
It would be so good for the brand.
Yes, great for the brand. I think Hamilton, to be honest, is thinking of retirement. It is now on the cards for him, and he's thinking, okay, what do I do with my life apart from making films and having a cute dog and like doing all these other things and this charity work? He's thinking, I've got too much spare time. What do I do? Oh, working with Mercedes further, because that's what he's known for the last however many years. So it makes complete sense. And also Mercedes will definitely want to have some sort of partnership. Because look, if Mercedes are looking to, obviously, you know, they will want someone with experience to consult, for the team to consult with, just how they did with Niki Lauda, for example. Yeah. And I mean, look, if they start bringing out supercars and things like that, they can say, oh, in collaboration with Lewis Hamilton, just like they have done with the AMG One. I'm not sure what lengths of collaboration they went to with Hamilton. I don't know if it was just him driving it for a couple of days saying, yeah, the suspension's a bit hard or whatever. I don't know. But it makes complete sense to have that name available to them. It's not like they're short on money, is it?
No, I don't know whether there is an issue behind the scenes or if both Mercedes, well, Toto Wolff and Lewis are just so relaxed about it because they both know that it's gonna happen. Although Hamilton did say it is a bit more intricate because it's not just a driver's contract.
Yeah, which makes complete sense.
But I also don't think Lewis would take the Mick
Schumacher. Yeah, no, I agree.
And ask for something ridiculous. Like, he's only asking for 20 million here, people.
Yeah,
a year. Come on.
Change.
It's got to keep Roscoe's lifestyle up.
Yeah, parties in Miami and all sorts.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, interesting. I mean, you know, the jury's still out. We don't know anything concrete just yet.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll be the first to know. Because we'll just jump on here and do a video as soon as the news comes out.
Yeah.
But what we actually wanted to talk about was the 2026 regulations.
Yeah.
Hamilton has agreed with basically all of us, hasn't he? So, he hasn't. He has.
He has.
I'm getting it mixed up with Alonso.
So, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, he said that he thinks the focus for 2026 should be making the cars lighter.
And I agree.
I think a lot of people agree with that.
Yeah.
But smaller. I think they should need to be smaller as well.
Yes. The wheelbase alone is ridiculous at the moment.
Because, Monaco.
Yeah.
is essentially an NCP car park. Really expensive
Yeah.
and tight spaces.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there was on the corner,
Hairpin.
the hairpin. Thank you. It's been a long day. On the hairpin, they literally came to a stop.
I know.
It was a traffic jam. It's
You may
like
as well
going
just-
down.
I was going to say pop the handbrake on. I don't think they've got handbrake.
I don't think they've got handbrakes. It was like going down the M42. It was ridiculous to watch, and it makes it. I've got to admit, it makes a slight mockery of the sport. But no, I mean, a load of drivers have come out and said they just need to be lighter, reduce the downforce. You know, Albon told me that he wants cars with reduced downforce. He wants lighter cars, and he does. He agreed. He said that the cars not only have to be lighter, but they do have to be smaller as well.
Yeah.
And I agree. You know, anyone who's played F1 23 and has got a bit of experience behind the wheel will agree with that.
All right.
Lovely game, by the way. I like it a lot. Although the Red Bull ring is difficult. Track limits, I just can't get it.
Yeah, I struggled. I think every single one of my laps was invalidated.
Yes, they were.
Bearing in mind, I think I only did 5. If
Did
that.
take you half an hour though.
Oh, that's unnecessary.
No, I mean the thing is F1 is actually in quite a good spot right now because the cars don't quite add up now, but Soleim is an ex-rally driver, so he does actually know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
He does know that he knows what he wants from a racing car.
Yeah.
So I mean, he said one thing I'd like to see is very clear. We need a lighter car. I believe this is better. I come from motorsport where lighter cars are safer and they won't use the same amount of fuel. That's a very good point. Lighter cars use less. They need less power to push them.
Yeah. And George Russell said previously that they need to consider the weight of the cars for safety reasons, didn't he? Because I think he said something like when they crash at the moment, it's like crashing a bus.
Yes.
So
Obviously, the heavier the object is,
Yeah.
the more momentum it has.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that that's the way it's going to go.
No, it'll definitely go like that. I mean, the cars have been getting heavier because of the safety. You know, they've been adding, and the hybrid power unit. It's a heavy thing having a battery in a car.
Yeah.
You know, look at all these electric cars that are coming out. If you find one under 2 tons, you'd be surprised. You know, the Lotus. I can't remember what it's called. The Lotus Emira. It's their new EV coming out. It's still like 1,600 kilograms, which is ridiculous. It's a Lotus, for goodness sake. But yeah, heavy cars are the future, but maybe not in F1, and hopefully they can do something about it. But Hamilton, he agrees. He's not actually that bothered by the size of the car, is he? I wonder if that's because when he's in front, he's got more of a defense. He's got more of a roadblock.
Yeah, but he's not in front at the moment.
No, but he's hoping.
Forever
He
hopeful.
said, I think the dimensions are pretty good. I quite like the size of the car, but obviously there are some places where it is tight.
Monaco.
Everything. Baku. That
Oh.
one cut by the church.
What did it-
Ridiculous.
I am so stupid.
Just an incident. Hamilton says, I think it is the weight that has definitely gone too far. Our wheels this year are a ridiculous weight, and there's just no need. We've had light wheels in the past, and then the cars, just the braking zones are longer, but I definitely think there's some good changes they can make for the future. It's not my decision, obviously. Now, being very diplomatic, of
Yeah.
course. I think the wheel issue, they are 18 inches. I think that's F1 or the developers of the cars just wanting it to be a little closer to road cars.
Yeah.
I do wonder that, but Fernando Alonso, on the other hand, he has come out and said Hamilton, well, he doesn't agree with Hamilton. He thinks it is the size of the cars over the weight.
Yeah.
He says, I think it's more the size of the cars than the weight, which makes things a bit more difficult. Overtaking fights into the first couple of corners of a race. It is difficult now to position the car just because of the size of it, not because of the weight. I wonder if he's kind of focusing on the fact that the wheels are larger. Because it is very
Yeah.
difficult now to see where your front wheels are for positioning.
Yeah.
I mean, Didn't he get a where was it, Saudi Arabia, where he got a penalty?
Oh, for the grid box placement. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got direct experience with that. He continues, he says, I think it's going to be really difficult to significantly reduce the weight because of the hybrid engines, which will always be heavier than normal engines, and the safety on these cars is a lot higher as well. Yes, I also agree with that. I do think it's going to be difficult. I don't think the cars will ever be as light as what we used to see.
No.
But if it's going in the right direction, it's going in the right direction. At least they know what direction to go in.
Yeah.
We just need to... They need to just make that a reality and add up the how realistic that is.
Yeah, it's that happy medium, isn't it? They just need to find that soft spot in the middle.
Like a cream egg.
Like a goo.
like a goo. I completely understand what you're talking about.
going to try and explain that.
No. Sergio Perez, he agrees that dimensions of the car have an impact in places like Monaco, like we said, where it just gets harder to do racing. They weren't racing, were they?
He wasn't.
Oh, God. Oh, shit.
Wasn't it Monaco?
Ooh, yeah,
he started at near the back and ran that first the first lap on the hairpin.
Yeah.
All the cars in front of him were really struggling to get around the corners. He effectively just stopped.
Yeah.
And waited.
Yeah.
And
it makes a mockery of the sport. Just if it's going to be that bad, we might as well just ride bicycles around and just give in and be like, you know what, 4 wheels, it's not good enough. It's just crazy.
Sassy.
No, but you watch it and you think it's a joke. You know, like, how can this be the pinnacle of racing when they're stopping on the track because they can't get around a corner because the cars are too big?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sergio Perez agrees. He says, I do think that the tyres, the size of the car, are a little too big. Yeah, we saw that coming. Please, F1 or /FIA, please do something about it. The cars are just too big. They're too heavy. Get rid of nearly all the downforce. I just want to see cars with very little downforce, but I just want to see them incredibly light, incredibly nimble, little short wheelbase things which move about. That is
your F1 fantasy.
My F1 fantasy. That's the perfect that's the special sweet spot. A lot of movement. These longer wheelbase cars, they don't rotate enough, and I think it kind of takes from the racing a little bit.
What's your favourite era of F1 car? Ooh, I put you on the spot.
Ooh.
That's a tough question,
that is
actually.
So difficult.
I feel like early 2000s.
For the sound, yes. I mean, the V10 era was always tasty, wasn't it?
I feel like you really meant that.
No, but you know what? I kind of like when Lotus was really doing well. I liked the idea of car manufacturers, constructors, F1 constructors, being able to do different things.
Yeah.
Like when they brought in the fan car.
I was just going to say that, the fan car.
So cool. Or the 6-wheeled, whatever it was. So cool. I love that. You know, trying different things. And yes, if it really works, the rest of the teams were like, excuse me, no thank you.
He has a fan on his car.
Yeah, Bernie, can you do something about... he was actually in charge of that car as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
and yet it still didn't... It was banned in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Bernie wanted to get into the Drivers' Association.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So he wanted to please... not the drivers, the team... what ended up as... I think it ended up as the FIA... I believe. I can't remember now. I can't remember the story. But he wanted to please the teams. So he was like, okay, I'll stop making my car so good. But that kind of F1 just needs to let loose a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what we're seeing right now, not with just the cost cap, but these regulations are so tight. That's a cat, not our cat.
Oh.
These regulations are so tight right now that they can't do anything. And from a viewer's point of view, not nerds like us, but from a viewer, you look at the cars and they basically all look the same.
Yeah. Obviously, you had Mercedes last year
Yeah, I
try
was
and do
just gonna
something
say.
new, but
But even
didn't
then,
work. They're now having to go
Yeah.
and do what everybody else is doing.
exactly.
It'd be nice to see some variety again.
Yeah, and there won't be for a little while, I think.
No.
But, you know, we'll see.
Just
Hang
thought
on,
I'd add
people.
that in there.
Yeah, no, hang on. There's still so much of the season left. We are going to see a year of Red Bull dominance, but hopefully next year, potentially even the year after, hopefully.
Don't wish your
We'll-
life away.
No, I mean, hopefully we'll see something a bit more interesting happening with the teams and a bit more competition. But right now, Red Bull just has so much dominance that regardless of all the penalties they get for going over the cost cap, they cannot be caught.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's enough said,
And
really.
on that note, no, it's exciting. There's plenty of season left. Look forward to it.
Yeah, and there's also a really good fight between second, third, and fourth.
Yes. Yes.
You know, Perez isn't looking too safe in second position at the moment.
Yeah.
The gap's closing behind him and lengthening in front of him.
That's
Lengthening?
true. That's
Extending.
yeah. Yeah.
So that will be really interesting. I think it'll be really interesting down in the bottom of the grid as well. I'm excited to see what happens with Williams.
Yes. So am I.
So there's exciting things going on.
Mm.
McLaren's upgrades. Hopefully we'll see some good performances there.
Piastri is optimistic.
Yeah. I'd like to see Ferrari get a... I mean, we'd like to see anybody else get a win. But
Not
also
gonna
just
happen.
like, you know, a podium finish would be nice for them as well. Be nice
Yeah.
for all of them, I suppose. That's partly why they're there.
Yeah.
There is
that
that.
six-wheeled car was a Tyrrell, by the way. It didn't do very well,
Oh.
but it was an interesting
I quite like
concept.
I mean, I can kind of see why I didn't do so well, but I like the idea.
Yeah,
Bit different.
Bit
It must
different.
have been way heavier though.
probably. Yeah, I don't know, but probably.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you so much for watching this podcast. As usual, please like, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on your favorite podcast provider, please rate us highly. Please review us highly. You can find the Driven Mad podcast on all of your favorite podcast providers, including iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, and many, many more. Subscribe, like I just said. Like, notification bell things, comments down below, please. We can't wait to read what you are thinking. Goodbye from both of us.
See ya.
If you like
Oh,
Lydia,
we're still here.
go follow at Lydia Me F1. If you like what I say, at Alex Does F1. We're here most days. See you in the next podcast.